Hey everyone, in this video here I'm going to set up an opt-in form for collecting email addresses for a newsletter, and I'm going to be doing that through Aweber. So the first thing you want to do is select the list that you want to work with, click on the Sign Up Forms tab near the top, and then click on Create a Sign Up Form. And now you should decide ahead of time what information you want to collect. By default, Aweber provides a form with name and email. Now you can get rid of that. I'll set it up so that we just collect the email address in this example, and I'm going to use an inline form rather than the lightbox. Like the lightbox is what pops over the page after a specified amount of time, and it kind of prevents the user from accessing anything like the article behind the screen until they X out or they actually fill in the box. And a lot of times the visitor thinks they have to fill in that box before they can continue on. That's why the lightbox is so successful. It'll increase your opt-in rate significantly in most cases, at least in my experience. But I'm just going to stick with the inline, which is something where you can paste the code anywhere on your page, whether you want to put it in a sidebar widget if you're using WordPress, for example, or just below a post, wherever the case may be. So inline is just right within the HTML of an existing site. Okay, and we can adjust the width either exactly, or we can modify the size just by dragging this handle here. Okay, and we could put text inside the header. We could choose the font. We can completely close that out. And we can get rid of the name box as well. Here's a privacy link that goes right to Aweber. We can remove that if we wanted to, or include our own. We could put our affiliate link in there ultimately if we wanted to. And we could put some text in the footer, or we can just completely remove that as well. And you can change the border. You can have a dashed or dotted border. Specify the pixels. You can specify the colors for the border to match your site. Whoops. Okay, now we can change the background color as well. Okay. Anyway, you get the idea. And then, we could have chosen from different templates as well. And let's make this a little bit wider. And if we decided, oh, maybe I do want the header back, we could put that back on. But just like that. And we could put the footer back on, the privacy box, a counter, etc. We could put images in there. And then we'll move on to step 2. So this is where we give it a name. It should be like if we want to put it on a particular website, we can put website name and location, maybe with top right sidebar. And if we wanted to enable Facebook registration, I talked about that in the article, where if somebody lands on the page and they're already logged into their Facebook page, in a different tab, for example, or a cookie already has them logged into Facebook, this will let them sign up to the list with just one click. And if they're not already logged into Facebook, there'll be a link there to prompt them to say, hey, if you want to log in with Facebook, you can click here. Sign up with Facebook. And the only restriction here is that it requires 300 pixels wide. So if you're putting in a sidebar, just make sure there's enough room in there if you're going to do that. Then you can set up the thank you page. You have different options. You can choose your own custom page here, or you could choose. There's a smart video version. What this does, Aweber says, okay, now go check your inbox and click the confirm link or whatever the case may be. And then there's so if somebody's already subscribed to your list, you can redirect them to a different page. specify what message you're going to get immediately, and move on to step 3. Okay, now here the decision you can make, you can decide to install the form yourself, of course, and this one's the best option really. If you have no need to modify the CSS or change any of the values in here. For example, there's tab stop values for the particular button's tab index. And if you have more than one form on a page, all the tab indexes will be the same. And if somebody's using tab to navigate through your form, this is especially the case if you have more than one field in the form, like if you have name and email. And somebody's using tab to bounce between form elements, they might actually bounce between different forms if you have more than one form on the page. So then in that case you would need the raw HTML version. That way you can change the tab stops. So if you were to, if this was you already had a form with these particular tab stops, you would change them to 601, and make sure you change them all. There's probably 3 on here with different tab indexes. So the submit button will have one, and the text box itself. Each of the text boxes that are on there, and whatever other fields you have. But the JavaScript one is nice because you can just place this one piece of code, and then if you ever decide you wanted to change the look of the form, Aweber saves that form for you, and then you can go back, make your modifications, and since you're using the JavaScript version, it will be automatically reflected on your website, so you don't have to replace the code. Whereas if you're using the HTML version, if you make any design changes or settings changes, you have to replace the code on your site. So this makes it so that the form automatically updates because it calls the form directly from Aweber. And then you can send an email with the, and then you can have Aweber host the form for you. So there's the page there. So you can just have people link to this exact page, or you can put it inside of a iframe or something like that. But in general, myself, I either use this if I can get away with it, or I use this if I need to make any changes. Because like I said, some of my sites I have more than one form, and in those cases I would want to use this. And when you're using more than one form on a page, it could be exactly the same form. So you might end up with duplicate style sheets. So remember, keep that in mind. You might want to get rid of one chunk of the style sheets and just put the actual form on there, so that way you don't have redundancy in the styles. Anyway, that's it. As soon as you have this code, you can place it anywhere on your site, and you're good to go. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.